Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, host of the Success for Women show, which airs every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Women in the workplace, women in business, and women who aspire to become business owners, live their dreams, and reach their goals. So join us Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, hello, and welcome to the Success for Women show, where you can view us on IBM TV and Pod TV. I am Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, your host, and my mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Well, today's topic is building strong cultures, and my guest is Shantara Chapman. Let me just give you a little bit of background on Shantara. Shantara Chapman is the president of Powell Her Consulting. She is a change management and cultural development consultant, strategic planning and communications expert, speaker, and community leader. From the moment she began her stellar career at NASA, Shantara developed a set of guiding principles for developing strong cultures that made her successful at many Fortune 500 companies. Shantara weaves her experiences into powerful stories and interactive conversations that make her a sought after speaker, consultant, and lecturer. She focuses on culture curation and allyship in the workplace. She is the author of the Transformative Ally Framework, Advocacy, Support, and Coexistence, Power Her Play, a Woman's Empowerment Guide, and Empowering You, 12 Tips to Finding Your Voice. I'd like to bring on the Success for Women show, Miss Shantara Chapman. Oh, I almost drew a blank there. She has such, I was reading so many good things about you when I got to the show. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should still be saying something else. How are you, my dear? It's good to have you on the show to share your success nuggets with us.
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, I am doing very well. But before we get started, I know there's a video that of your, I think it's a retreat you have coming. Do you have a retreat coming up?
We have a retreat coming up in October for the Her Way retreat.
That so everybody can see what you're all about.
Okay.
Powerful, beautiful, magical. Words cannot express.
Her Way retreat is harmony.
This is for you. It's not for anybody else.
Officially a part of my annual planning.
Wow, that looks like it's going to be a fantastic retreat. We're going to talk more about that a little later. But before we get started, I usually give the standard bio on my guests. But then I like to ask the guests, just tell us what you want us to know about Shantara Chapman.
Oh, okay. So I am Shantara Chapman, president of Powell Her Consulting. I spent the first part of my career as a consultant, 13 years as a consultant for NASA here in Houston. So born and raised, I'm in Houston, Texas. And so I spent 13 years as a strategic leadership consultant for NASA and working in-house, working for Booz Allen Hamilton consulting firm. So I've been a consultant my entire career. After that, I moved into the oil and gas industry. And that's when I started doing a lot more work in change management and working in that oil and gas industry before stepping out on my own and starting PowHer Consulting. So I've had a long career, but all in consulting. And I've enjoyed it, and it's afforded me opportunities to travel a lot and work with a lot of large organizations, but also afforded me an opportunity to see some things where it comes to organizations and culture, where I felt like, there's some things that I can do. And I feel like I could do a little bit differently, and it allows me to be able to step out on my own and do that, and also see women that look like me be either misrepresented or be able to show me in a way where I can be able to do some things a little bit differently. So I'm super excited to be able to do some things, not only with PowHer Consulting, but also with the Her Way Retreat, where I can show Black women in a different way, in a new light.
Absolutely. So tell us, what is PowHer Consulting and how do you service your clients?
So PowHer Consulting, we're a boutique consulting firm that focuses on strategic planning, strategic communications, change management, as well as cultural development and culture change.
Wow.
So we service our clients in those 4 key areas because those are the things that I've focused on with my clients for all of my career for over 20 years. And it has been the space that allows me to go in and build strong cultures within an organization. In those spaces, we're able to really see the pendulum move from one area of culture to another within within an organization.
Mm-hmm. So most of your clients then are women that you work with?
Actually, no.
Oh, okay.
PowHer Consultant is actually PowHer is a word that I coined when I also have a women's foundation, the Chapman Women's Foundation here in Houston. And we coined this term when saying we'd like to help women thrive in their own PowHer. Mm-hmm. And PowHer means that she is trying to do everything that she can do to be this strong person, be this person that is the one that's doing all the things that she wants, building whatever it is that she's trying to build professionally and personally. And so being this all powerful person, and I always like to say, I am her. Okay. So I am that powerful woman. I am that person leading this charge. And so we definitely love when we are servicing clients that are led by women, or we'd like to see those organizations that have a lot more women in the C-suite. But a lot of my clients are not, unfortunately, we don't see as many women, especially in the bigger organizations, but we are starting to lean towards organizations where we are seeing a lot more women in the C-suite. So we are starting to focus our efforts in that way, where we're trying to target those, especially when it comes to that retreat, obviously.
Great. That sounds awesome. Now, we hear a lot about change management, but oftentimes we do not know what it means. Can you explain to us what change management is and why a company would need your services, especially as it relates to that particular area?
Sure. Change management. And a lot of people ask me, what is change management? Or they'll say, I've heard of it. And I think I kind of know what it is, but I'm not really sure. Can you explain it? And so typically I try to take all of the, the businessy jargon out of it. And I just like to say, when there is a change going on, whether it is a diversity change, a policy change, leadership, or IT change, someone's coming in, bringing in a new software or a new leader, anything, you need a change manager or a change management team coming in, depending on how big it is, to ensure that your organization receives it well. Because a lot of times, if there's a new leader coming into place, right, you'll think, oh, we're getting fired, or they're going to bring in their own new team. So if a new manager comes in, you're automatically thinking they're going to restructure the entire organization, and they're going to start to either downsize or change out the whole organization, and people are going to start to see dramatic changes. Or a new system comes in and they're thinking, oh, they're going to change how I do my job. And oh my gosh, I'm going to be out of a job. So people will start to protect their work and they won't want to use the new system. So change managers come into play by saying, wait a minute, we work on the user adoption. We learn the tool, we learn the policies, we learn what the benefits of that new thing is. And then we go out and we engage with the user community. We teach them how to use it. We show them the benefits. And then we start to, get them on board. And then we start tracking against the metrics and saying, okay, leaders, this is how many people are receiving the tool, the policy, the whatever. Now you need to go out here and do some different work. We start to teach them how to communicate, because we've done our job and we're communicating, we're doing the things with you and for you, but we also go back and coach the leader on how to do that same thing as well. So we're communicating, we're training, we're engaging, we're doing all of those things, but we're also tracking the value of that tool to make sure you've spent your money on it. And we have to make sure that people are actually going to adopt it. So there's that whole adoption piece of it that comes into play.
Now, you mentioned that people tend to think maybe they might get fired or different things like that. Do you find when you go into these companies, they have to look at the top management, the top managers, and maybe they do have to change some things at the top because, a lot of times some of the problems, so to speak, even though they don't want to admit it, some of the problems are, because of the people at the top. So do you find you have to do a lot of, advising them on top changes, or not so much?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes it is an organizational issue, because there's organizational change management and then there's behavioral change management, right? And so we have to look at the behaviors of people as it comes to maybe how they look at an issue. And then there's the organizational structure piece of it. So there are two different types. And sometimes we have to look at how the organization's laid out, and we have to look at the people. Do they really have the skills needed to affect the change that we want to happen? And if the answer is no, then we have to decide, can we move them? Can we train them? Can we get them where we need them to be? And if the answer still is no, then we have to make some hard decisions. Because sometimes you do have to do what you have to do, right, for the good of the organization or the good of the company. But sometimes you can get creative, and you can't, especially if it's someone that you really feel like can add value. So you have to ask yourself the questions and figure out if you can do the things you need to do in the time that's allotted to get the person where they need to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I noticed you also work in the area of cultural development. So what cultural development consulting consists of? What do you have to do when you go into a company as it relates to cultural development? What does that look like?
Cultural development, that could be a lot of things. And it depends on the organization too, because we get called to do a few things, from organizational assessments, where people will say, I need you to come in and look at where we are now. And let me tell you where we would like to be, because sometimes there's been a full trust breakdown.
Okay.
All of a sudden, my team is no longer gelling. They're no longer talking to each other, and a leader can't figure out why. And they're saying, hey, my culture, I thought we had a solid culture. and all of a sudden something's wrong. And then sometimes we have to do just the assessment. Then there's the listening sessions that happen to get to that point to try to understand. We also do, after we've done those listening sessions, there are strategic plans that we can put in place and say, here's some things that you can do to try to get that back. But one of the most important things that we've found is that we have to explain it's not going to get fixed overnight. Sometimes when it comes to that cultural development and even a lot of the diversity work that comes with that and inclusion work, is people tend to think, oh, can you get some training in here? Yeah, we can do some diversity, inclusion training and all of those things, but that's not going to fix anything overnight. There's a lot of work that has to go into changing a culture, because people have to start to learn how to engage each other in a different way. And that's something that takes time. And even rebuilding trust, the lengths that people sometimes go through to try to build trust, it may take years to build someone's trust back after it took just a second to break it. And sometimes you never get it back.
That's true. Absolutely. So I know when you go into these companies, have you, especially lately, a lot of people I know are working, remotely. Yeah. So are you seeing where there's problems with, with a lot of people being at home and still trying to get that work done, to make that organization function the way it's supposed to function? Is there ever, especially when you're dealing with the change management, has there been a situation where you've had to say, well, I think you need to bring some more people back into the brick and mortar rather than have them staying at home?
No, actually, I haven't. And especially with change management, I haven't had it be a problem with having someone working remotely. Okay. And I'll tell you why. Because when it comes to people actually focusing in and doing the work, if you are clear and explain what needs to be done and how it needs to be done, they typically will figure out what needs to happen. I think initially it just took a little bit of time, to do that. And people have to figure out their work schedules and that sort of thing. But I haven't had any issues with it. Now, where it has become a little tricky, it's when the organizations we were working on things that are like trust building. So a lot more of the culture development pieces, those are a little bit harder to do virtually. When a team has gone through a culture breakdown and trying to do those virtual workshops, those are tough to do, because having to do a workshop with a team to rebuild trust and do that virtually, it's harder, because workshops for trust building and trust development are multi-hour workshops. And to be able to have to do a multi-hour workshop virtually, it's harder.
Gotcha. So how is your company different? How is PowerHer Consulting different from any other consulting company out there?
PowerHer Consulting, I think because we're small, because we're a boutique organization, and we tend to bid on contracts and things like that, the same as some of the larger ones. You're a little bit more flexible when you're smaller, but also we don't use the same cookie cutter. We're not a cookie cutter type organization where everybody gets the same solution. Our clients don't get the same thing that, what my, maybe a Chevron client or whatever can't say. I can't tell them that they're going to get the exact same thing as someone from a NASA client has gotten. I won't do that, because I need to make sure that they're getting something that's tailored to them. So I do take extra time. We sit and we actually partner with them. Absolutely. My clients are considered real partners. And also, I don't hire new hires.
Okay.
Um,
No.
mostly because
Okay.
when we go into our client sites, they're wanting to move really quickly and get going.
Gotcha.
And when you have new hires for the type of work that we do, it takes a little time to get up to speed.
Right. Right.
And when you're trying to get up to speed really, really, in an organization that's saying, hey, we need to go quickly, especially when budgets are getting cut as rapidly as they are these days, it's hard. So when I say new hire, I mean someone right out of college.
Right. Okay.
So we're talking, I need someone that's at least 5 to 7 years in. That way we're not having to explain and give the definition of change management or give, and because my clients will know right away, okay, she just brought somebody in here green. This is going to set us back, and I'm going to be spending money trying to get them up to speed, or, it's going to be a waste of time. That's the thing that I think a lot of clients get put off when that happens.
Right.
And that's something that you don't want them to say, okay, now I have someone that's wasting our money.
Absolutely. They have to be able to hit the ground running. That definitely makes sense. So what do you and your team bring to the table that makes clients call you back?
They call us back for a couple of things. One, when I say partner, that trusted partner that they have in us is we're going to tell the truth regardless, whether it's, and not brutally honest truth, but they're going to hear the bad. If it's something like, hey, you didn't make the right call here.
Okay.
We may need to step back in order to step forward. Your schedule may be too aggressive here. I know that you promised something. You may have overpromised. I'm going to tell you that. I'm not going to try to deliver something that's half done.
Right.
They're going to know that I'm always going to be quality over quantity. I'm going to over deliver, and under promise. So those are things that they're going to get from me. Also, we have a learning portal. So even beyond, after we're finished and I'm out the door, a lot of my clients will subscribe to a learning portal. We call it our PowHer learning portal, where there's always these quick tips and extra learning opportunities. And if they want to do diversity moments or OE moments and different things, where they're always can start their meetings with different little change management tips or different things. Teaching them how to manage a meeting, teaching them how to move forward with strategic planning efforts. I have all of that for them to do even after I'm gone.
Wow.
So those are things that little extras that they'll get from me that'll keep them calling me back.
Okay. Now, I also remember when I was reading your intro that you've worked with a lot of Fortune 500 companies. Do you find that going in to handle the larger companies is there a real big difference between them and maybe a smaller company, Fortune 100 company or something like that? Is there usually a real big difference there?
Yes. The big difference is the bigger company has the bigger bureaucracy. It takes longer to get something done. And also it's a longer period of time to see your change come to fruition.
Oh, okay.
Because it takes forever for them to get something done, you have more people that's in the way of getting a decision made. Whereas a smaller or mid-sized company, which is where we tend to have that little sweet spot of that mid-size, where it will, and in 2 years, 1 to 2 years, I can see that change in that organization. Whereas the bigger ones, maybe you're starting to get a glimmer of that change, or they may stop for a minute and have to decide if they're going to even put the rest of the budget towards it. You're fighting for them to continue the project. They're always having to reevaluate. So yes, it's great to have those big, large logos on there, but it just takes that much longer. You got to keep fighting for it. So you have to really be on top of your game.
Wow.
to stay on it. And I mean, and I've been, blessed to be able to work in those large companies and be able to stay there and then, love the work that I do, to keep me there, to see those bigger contracts come through to the end. But they've been longer contracts. They've been, for me to be able to see it to the end.
Wow. Now I'm going to ask you, what would be your favorite if you had to choose between the bigger ones or the smaller ones? Where would your, druthers be?
I would say probably in the mid-size,
Okay.
the mid. This I would not too small, because the smalls tend to not really be able to stay on too long because they're, because of budget constraints, they can't really stay to see things all the way to the end sometimes. And the bigs are sometimes really, really too big. I mean, with big, of course, people would say, well, they have the money and you can go travel and do some, really fancy, cool things, which are really great.
Mhm.
But the mid-size is where you can really, really see the work being done.
Mhm.
And if you're lucky, even in the bigger organizations, if they break you into one of the smaller departments, it's almost like you're in a mid-size organization, because at that point they have a subset of the budget, and then you can really see some things work.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, do you find there's do you have a lot of interest? You mentioned about your training portal and different things like that. Do you get a lot of interest from, the companies you work with? Do they have a lot of interest in signing on to that to get those tips and information from there? Or do you find that you have to kind of twist their arm a little bit and say, look, hey, if you want to stay on top of things, this might be a good place for you to do it?
I find that the smaller companies love the portal.
Okay.
The smaller companies, because they may be a little bit more budget constrained, they love it and they will sing the praises of it.
Okay.
And then at that point, I use their testimonials.
Okay. Yes.
To get the larger companies on board, because the larger companies, they feel like, oh, we don't need that.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
we're who we are. Why do we need that? We can do this on our own.
Wow. Yeah. And they probably need it the most in some cases. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That is interesting, because it's like, like you were saying about they're not, sometimes they may not see it all the way to the end, even though the larger companies do have the money, and they probably start thinking the same thing at some point. It's like, oh, we got this, we don't really need to go any further, because now she's kind of started the ball rolling. We could kick it over the goal line or something like that. And so, yeah, I could see them having that kind of mentality when it comes to different things like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm in Texas, right? So yes, I get it all the time,
Wow. Interesting. Now, let's talk about your retreat. I know that you're hosting a retreat. We saw the video about it. And tell us more about this. What will you be doing at the retreat? Why and how was it created? Just give us the whole background on that retreat. I want to hear about it, because it looks like it's going to be awesome. And also, is this something you do annually? You do this every year?
So the retreat, the Her Way retreat.
A lot of questions there, I know.
Yeah, all of it. Okay, so the Her Way retreat started maybe 4 years ago, after George Floyd's murder. That's when it happened.
Okay.
And I'm sitting, we're in COVID, all of the things, are happening. The world is crazy. And I'm getting phone calls from a lot of my Black female friends who are in corporate America. And they're saying, Shantara, it is a mess in my office. They're like just calling, going, give me tips, give me things that I can share with my office. Mm-hmm. Because they are asking me to do diversity programs. They're asking me to share. They're asking me to do all of these things. And I'm like, why are they asking you? So they're saying it's just so exhausting. And I'm hearing all the stories. Everyone is just so exhausted.
Right.
Everyone is sad, and just spent.
Right.
And I just sat for a moment and I thought to myself, well, what can I do? I'm here thinking, everything that I do, there's this spin of women. There's something about, wanting to do something for women.
Absolutely.
There's always the thing, right? And
Yeah.
with my women's foundation, there was always this particular dynamic that a demographic that I would work with, which were women who were trying to get out of shelters. And I was like, that's not the demographic that's calling me right now. I mean, I'm helping them for COVID, but that's not who's calling me and just really, really seeming hurt.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, maybe there's a way that I can get some women together. But we're in the middle of COVID and all of the things. And so I started to call around to different resorts trying to find a space because we're at the end of COVID. So people are starting to come out some. And I found a resort in Scottsdale that was like bungalows only. So you didn't have to stop at a lobby. You go straight to your bungalow.
First one.
My first one in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay. I love that. Yeah, I love Scottsdale. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Fabulous, right? So I was like, we can go there. And I was like, well, maybe I'm going to do it for a small set of women. Let's just see, maybe it's just something I would do to help women in this time. And it was wonderful. And these ladies had a wonderful time. And it wasn't just about just getting away, but it was professional development, but there was also this aspect of self-care because I felt like that was needed. We needed to talk about us. We needed to get back to who we were and, all the things. We had Minda Harts come and speak and it was really, really great. And all of a sudden it became a thing. They were like, oh, Shantara, this is great. What are we going to do next year? I was like, next year?
I know, yeah.
I wasn't thinking about next year. It was just about this year. I was just trying to help.
I know what you mean. Yes.
Yeah. And so then I did it a second year in Scottsdale, but at a different place. And so then I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this thing, this Her Way retreat. And Her Way, the reason why I called it Her Way was because I wanted it to be, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it, your way. Anything that we say we're going to do, like if we're going to go to dinner and they're like, oh, how should we dress? However you want to, your way. Okay. What should I wear? What you want to wear, your way. So everything was okay. And if I say it's going to be business casual, but business casual your way. We're going to do, classy, but your way. Everything was this, but your way. And so no one felt like they had to look a particular way, act a particular way, talk a particular way. It is your way.
Wow. And
so that was what it was, and everything still played on that whole pow her, but it was her way.
Okay.
And so that's where the name came from. And it was, okay, we're going to do this, but I want to do it for these Black women executives. We're not going to make it big because I also love the fact that they were able to just be very intimate and share.
Yes.
And once it gets too big, beyond like that number 20 or so, because so I said, we're going to keep it at like 20, Yeah. And beyond that, I felt like it would be too huge and people wouldn't share the way they wanted to. And when we had a dinner, we could all sit at the same table and talk and everyone hear each other and see each other's faces. And that's what I liked about it, was this intimacy.
Right.
So I took a step back last year and I didn't host it because I wanted to think about what it was.
Okay.
And so this year when I brought it back, I was like, okay, now it has a mission because I needed it to actually be something. If I'm going to do it, it needs to have a mission and be truly there. Absolutely. And so now it has, in my mind, it has this mission of, these women filling in the gap for each other, which means we are going to guide each other and, provide growth. And we are going to ensure that there's these opportunities to coach one another where we need to. We're going to ensure that we have access to each other and be able to speak to each other without judgment. We're going to praise each other for our accomplishments, no matter how big or small, and then prepare for one another. So there's this, we're going to be there and ensure that we are filling in the gap. Absolutely. For each other. And that's that goal professionally and personally. And so there's this idea of building community with like-minded women.
Mhm.
And I took it out of Scottsdale and said, okay, well, how about going to Cabo? So we got this fun place where we can still have an opportunity to enjoy ourselves, but also still have this focus time. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to still have the focus time. We're going to have the time to enjoy and do all the things and come out of there with self-care, with some professional things, a little bit more networking.
Absolutely. You got to go to, do they still have the Western town where you could go and ride the stagecoach and all of that?
I don't know. I haven't been to Cabo.
There, they did it because I was still in college, but we went to the Western town and rode. I felt like I was in one of the Western movies. We went in the place, we got all dressed up like they do in the West and everything, and we rode the stagecoach. I mean, it was fantastic. I hope they still have it. I haven't been to Arizona in years, and definitely not Scottsdale since college, but I know they had it then. So hopefully it's still there. It's still going on. You should look at y'all would have fun. I'm telling you.
Well, see, we're not doing Scottsdale this year. We're doing Cabos. So.
Yeah, I love Old Western, so I guess that's just me. That's why. Okay. So tell me, why do you feel it's important to focus on Black female executives? I know they're, because I love focusing on women too, and I tend to focus, on all. Yeah. And of course, my passion is women, but I'm a little bit, like a little biased with the Black female. So why do you feel it's important to focus on Black female executives?
I think, obviously, I'm a Black woman, but there's also this, as we were going through that time, especially when I was building the retreat, we were going through that time, there was this huge pressure that was placed on Black women and Black executives to fix it.
Yes.
Fix the issues in the organizations. It was like, let's fix all of these things. But even now, it seems like, if there's something going on and, there's this light that shines on the Black woman to take care of it. And if she can't, or if she's a little she doesn't conform to how you feel like she should, we're going to blame her for it. And, the video that I put out about the college executive who killed herself, it was like, that was heart-wrenching to me.
Yes.
She's being bullied and no one helped her because she's saying things. She's telling people and nothing happened. Or even the Harvard president
who stepped down.
Who had to step down.
Yes.
It's Black women who are doing things over and over and over. We're told you got to be twice as good to get half. You got to do twice as good, work twice as hard, and you still get half. Yeah. So we're fighting. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I feel like it's just an opportunity. We just need the opportunity to just say, let us breathe. Can we breathe, please? I mean, and even looking at what's happening with the Fearless Fund, there's just always so many things. There's so many things. Absolutely. And I just feel like this is the one thing that I can do to give an opportunity to breathe, give an opportunity to say, I see you because I see me in you.
Absolutely.
And let's take some time for ourselves to share our own stories, because we all have them, not to compare ourselves to one another, not to compete with one another, but to say, we are here together to say, let's strengthen. Iron sharpens iron. Yes. We can help each other, even if it's just to say, I'm going to lift you up here and just say you're great for 2-3 days. And that could help someone get over whatever hump you just never know what that is, to be able to just
somebody to listen, like you said, just have somebody to listen
and to affirm that
Mm.
you are not going crazy on any given
Absolutely.
day.
Yes, yes. Wow. You are absolutely correct. I mean, when all of that started happening, and I was reading about another one just recently, same thing going on about the plagiarism thing.
Yeah.
It does make you take a look and wonder, because that's the same thing I do at my retreat. My theory is that, you know, we need to fill our cups first,
Yeah.
because there's just so many balls that we're juggling in the air, you know. So sometimes you just have to stop and just let those balls lay there for a while and just refill, rejuvenate yourself. And so I totally agree. Your retreat in your you know, what you have, the hopes for it and everything. I think it's great. It definitely is. So, you know, definitely continue. As I said, women, that's my passion, to make sure that they're well. Because, like they said, when women are well, our families are well. When women are well, our communities are well. So, hey, we need to make sure that we are well. I tell you that.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
honestly, it's not about, and it's not to say all women are not needing to be nurtured, because
Yes.
I'm for everyone. It's just for this piece, I wanted this to be, this is my heart, because I didn't get it when I was in corporate America. So
Oh,
I
yes.
felt like this was an opportunity for me to do something, be the change that I wish I had.
Absolutely. It's like you want to pick up that gauntlet and just help them to navigate around the obstacles that you had to face when you were there. So definitely understand that. I tell you what, tell us again, when is your retreat going to be taking place?
My retreat is taking place October 2024. It's going to be in Cabo, so it's not going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona this year. It's going
Okay,
to be in
okay.
Mexico.
So you're not gonna see the Western style. Okay.
You're not going to see the Western, but I mean, to be at the Marquee in Cabo, I don't know, all of that water, it's going to be
That
beautiful.
sounds nice. Yeah.
And so we have the applications out on the herwayretreat.com too, so people can go there and get that information and fill out the application. It's
Wow.
gonna be
Wow.
great.
So tell us, if you had one piece of advice to leave with our viewers, what would that advice be?
Um, if I had one piece of advice to leave with your viewers, it would be to take time for yourself.
Yes.
It's not selfish to
No.
take time for yourself. I'm
Absolutely.
learning that.
Mhm.
That is something that I have really focused on. A friend of mine sent me this song, and it's called First. The song is called First. And it all it says is, I'm going to put myself first. I
Oh,
matter. My needs matter.
to that. I love stuff like that.
And all of this, and it's like saying it over and over. I'm gonna put myself first. My needs matter. I'm gonna put
Okay.
myself first. I'm enough. And
Okay.
and then I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's all I need to hear over and over and over. And then just saying it, and it's just like this thing. And I was like, it's brilliant and it's simple. But sometimes we need to hear that it's okay to put yourself first and to be
Yes.
selfish,
Mhm.
but it's not selfish.
Mhm.
Just like you said, you can't pour from an empty cup. And
No.
even what the flight attendants say, you got to put your
Ask on first.
oxygen mask on first, because
Absolutely.
how are you going to save someone else's life if you dead?
And that's what I tell time. You know, you do all these things, you're all, you know, be all to everybody. But what happens if you don't take care of yourself? Then you can't do anything for anybody.
Can't do it for anyone.
We as women, you know, we're like I said, we got those balls all juggling in the air, and sometimes we just don't know how to say no. And sometimes you have to remember that no is a complete sentence.
In every language.
Yes, and you have to say no sometimes, you know? There you go. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, Shantara, tell us how we can reach out to you. tell us again if they want to register for your retreat in October, how they can do so, and anything else that you want us to know. Just let us know.
Yes. They can find me at a couple of places. So the Her Way Retreat, if they want to register for the Her Way Retreat, you can visit our website at theherwayretreat.com. And for Powher Consulting, you can go out to Powher Consulting at POWHER consulting.com. Both of those places will at some point lead you directly to me, but also on LinkedIn. Every Monday, I have some type of video with my face or my voice that will show up there. That's how you found me. There's either video with me or my voice somewhere on it, talking about, change or inclusion or something, strategic planning, something that has to do with what my firm focuses on. And so we're trying to just make sure that people are aware of the things that we offer and how we change and build strong cultures in our organizations.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. She is awesome, y'all. You definitely want to reach out to her. Again, her retreat is in October. Give us those dates again. October, what's the dates?
It is October, I think it's October 7th. I'm trying to think about it. I was like, I change from 7th to the 11th, but somewhere in there. So yes. And so on the, in Cabo. So you definitely want to go out there and check your calendars and see if it permits for you to come and join us at the Her Way Retreat. We'd love to have you.
Wow. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing, letting us know about your Powher retreat, and also talking about change management and some of the things that are, that's going on in the companies around the world and how you're working with those female executives. Definitely appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. It is fantastic. It's awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be here on the Success for Women show. Appreciate
you for having me.
Oh, wow. So I'm just going to let everybody know some upcoming events that where you can find me and some things that's going on. First of all, make sure that you get a copy of the Own It anthology. It's Your Life, Own It Unapologetically, and the journal, 365 Days to Transformation. To get the journal or the paperback book, you can go on my website, which is www.exwsi.com, and you can purchase either one or both of the Own It anthologies. I, of course, am in it along with I want to say 47 other authors. They did some fantastic, the chapters are just fantastic. So you might want to get your copy. Also, make sure to tune into the next Black Business Olympics, and it's going to be February 26th through March 3rd, 2024. The Black Business Olympics is a fundraiser to provide scholarships and laptops to high school seniors going to college and K through 12 entrepreneurs. The Black Business Olympics is showcases Black businesses, Black business owners, and corporations all around the world. And if you'd like to be a speaker to showcase your business, you can email me at info@exwsi.com. And also note, put on your calendar that I will be speaking on that Thursday, February 29th at 7 p.m. And I'll be talking about having a successful mindset. And if you missed the Show Up to Rise Up virtual summit that I did that aired January 25th through the 27th, you can still get the VIP access pass. It's $99 to so you can have all the videos and see all the fantastic speakers that was in the summit and different things that they talked about. You can get that by emailing me at info@exwsi.com. exwsi.com, and I will send you the link to be able to purchase that VIP pass. I will also be doing another virtual summit, the Show Up to Rise Up virtual summit in September. So if you're interested in being a speaker, you can reach out to me again at info@exwsi.com to find out more information about becoming a speaker on the platform. And also mark your calendar for my next Show Up to Rise Up retreat, which is planned for September. And the exact dates, we kind of changed the dates because I'm having it at a resort also. So if you want to be put on the list so that you can be kept updated on the exact date and location, again, email me at info@exwsi.com. And if you have not viewed my Show Up to Rise Up TEDx talk that I did in Vancouver, make sure that you do so. I tell you what, I'm excited. The video is still moving. It's still getting views. I am excited because I just want to thank everybody who has watched it, who has shared it, and who's still, making sure that it gets out there, making sure that it's making the rounds. Right now, it's at 194,042 views. So, hey, my goal is to get to 1 million plus views as far as my TEDx talk is concerned. I am also a contributing writer for Own It magazine. So if you would like to get a subscription, you can go to my website and also get a subscription for that. Own It magazine is a resource for personal and professional and business development. And I write an article for them once a month on one of those topics. So make sure to get a subscription to the magazine. You can go on my website, www.exwsi.com. There's a link on there if you want to get an annual subscription. If you'd like to get a copy to see how the magazine is, maybe the January issue, email me and I'll be glad to send you the link so you can take a look at the January issue to see how you like the magazine. Beautifully done by Marissa Blodorn. She does the publishing for the magazine. So I want to again thank my viewers and my listeners for being here. I want to thank my guest, Ms. Shantara Chatman. This is the Successful Women Show. I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can go to info@exwsi.com, which is my email, or go to my website, www.exwsi.com. And while you're there, make sure you download my free 3-part video series on 3 things every woman should do to position herself for executive leadership. I'd also like you to sign up for my online course, which is Crack the Career Code: How to Lead with Confidence, Charisma, and Credibility. To sign up for the course, go to www.crackthecareercode.com. You can also find me on all the social media platforms. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, the YouTube channel, and to the Pod TV channel. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and share this episode. Ms. Shantara Chatman gave us some great nuggets on executive leadership, on change management, on cultural development. You don't want to miss that, and you don't want your friends or family to miss out on it either. Again, this is a Successful Women Show. We're here on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am your host, Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, and my mission is to help women accelerate the path to success. Thank you again for joining us. I love you all to life. So as always, be well and stay safe out there. Did you know women represent just 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and less than 15% of corporate executives at top companies worldwide? Have you wondered what the secrets are to getting into the top ranks, whether in the private or public sector? Do you want to figure out how to stop being held back in your career or passed over for promotion? Then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. I have decades of experience in the military, the federal government, and corporate America. And my mission is to help women succeed and tap into their full potential. I want to reach 1 million+ women around the world to become the leaders they are meant to be. So if you want to move into a management or executive level position, or maybe you are a female veteran transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship, then reach out to the Executive Women's Success Institute at 301-693-3284. Let us get you on the fast track to success.